Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की, बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम हरे कृष्णा जय कृष्णा। शुरू करते अपन। कल हम लोगों ने सेकेंड अध्याय शुरू किया क्या, और 9th कैंटो में जैसा कि हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, परीक्षित महाराज सुखदेव गोस्वामी जी से 7th मनु जो करंट मनु है उसके डायनेस्टी का विवरण करने के लिए कहते हैं, राइट? हाउ डिड द मनुवंतर and then how did the universe and the population grew, how did it work out, right? That's what Parikshit Maharaj is asking. So Sukhdev Goswami ji is responding to that. Last अध्याय में हम लोग पढ़ रहे थे कैसे Vaivasvat Manu, right? Current Manu, Shraddha Dev, Vaivasvat Manu. He requested to have a son. उसके लिए वशिष्ठ मुनि ने यज्ञ किया, and of course Vaivasvat Manu wanted a son, but then in the middle, Shraddha Devi, wife of Manu, she requested priest to desire for a daughter. And so they had a daughter named Ila. And then, of course, Vaivasvat Manu was not very happy. So Vashishta Muni, on behalf of Vaivasvat Manu, he did prayers to Lord Vishnu. Yeah. And then Ila became a Purush, and her name was then Sudhumna. Yeah, the king Sudhumna. And then, of course, we know that the story where he entered that Sukumar Vanam and the Maru Parvat, and they became all again women. Again, Vashishta Muni prayed to Lord Shiva, and then he had a Vardhan where 1 month he was man, 1 month being a woman, and he led the kingdom. But then he went to forest, took a Vanashram, and then and then we were reading that at that point, Vaivasvat Manu again wanted to desire a son, and then he had 10 sons, Ikshvaku being the eldest. And what we are reading right now is one of his putra, Prashadhar, right? And Prashadhar, he used to look after all the cows, right? He was a great saint. He was used to look after cows. But once, by mistake, he killed a cow, thinking that she was a tiger, and because of that, he was cursed by the spiritual master Vashishta Muni that he should be born in a Shudra. Excuse me. He should be born in a Shudra family and not in the Kshatriya. And then, of course, he accepts the curse. That's what we are reading right now. Yeah. So yesterday we read that when the hero Prashadhar was thus cursed by his spiritual master, he accepted the curse with folded hands. So he accepted the curse. Then, having controlled his senses, he took the vow of brahmacharya, which is approved by all great sages. Yeah, Udhrareta Muni Priyam yeah, the Vratam Veera, he took a vrat of remaining brahmachari. I will read from the next slok. Ajay.
वासुदेवे भगवती सर्वात्मनि परियमले एकांतिवत्वं गतो भक्त्या सर्वभूत सुहृत समः विमुक्त संगः शांतात्मा संयताक्षोपि अपरिग्रहः यदीक्षयोपपन्नेन कल्पयन् वृत्ति मात्मनः आत्मन्याममाधाय ज्ञान तृप्तः संहितः विचचार महिमेतां जडान्धप धीराकृतिः. Hare Krishna. Thereafter, Prasadhar gained relief from all responsibilities, became peaceful in mind, and established control over all his senses. Being unaffected by material conditions, being pleased with whatever was available by the grace of the Lord to maintain body and soul together, and being equal towards everyone, he gave full attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, who is the transcendental super soul free from material contamination. Thus, Prasadhar, fully satisfied in pure knowledge, always keeping his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, achieved pure devotional service to the Lord and began traveling all over the world without affection for material activities, as if he were deaf, dumb, and blind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the Prasadhar, and Prasadhar, as we know, son of Vaivasvat Manu, right? He became brahmachari and then he gave full attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Yeah, and Vasudeva is the transcendental super soul, of course, and that's what is being written here. Vasudeva Bhagavati, and then he became Sarva Atmani. Yeah, he became Ekantitvatman Gato Bhaktya. Yeah, in Bhakti, he started realizing Sarva Bhut Shweta Samay. Yeah, and then of course Vimukta Sangam, he became Shanta Atma Sanyat Aksho Aparigraha. So on Jnana Tripta Samahita. So this is how Prasadhar became transcendental. Yeah. Evam Rito Vanam Gatva Drishtava Dava Agni Muttitam Tenopyukta Karano Brahma Prapa Param Muniha. With this attitude, Prasadhar became a great saint. And when he entered the forest and saw a blazing forest fire, he took this opportunity to burn his body in the fire. Thus he achieved his transcendental spiritual world. And Prasadhar, after achieving all that, self-realization, yeah, Brahma Prapa Param Munim. Yeah, he saw the fire in the forest and then he gave up his body and he achieved the transcendental spiritual world. A nice purport. Let's read this. Ajay.
The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma chama divyam ivam yo veti tatvatah tyaktava deham punarjanma neti mam iti so Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains by eternal abode. O Arjun, Prasadhara because of his karma, was cursed to take his next birth as a Shudra, but because he took to saintly life, specifically concentrating his mind always upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he became a pure devotee. Immediately after giving up his body in the fire, he reached the spiritual world as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Mam Iti, as a result of his devotional situation. Devotional service performed by thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so powerful that although Prasadhara was cursed, he avoided the terrible consequence of becoming a Shudra and instead returned home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is being mentioned here is how Prashadar went back to Godhead by becoming a pure devotee and by understanding, and we know in 4.9 Bhagavad Gita, right, Lord Krishna himself says that Janma Karm Cha Me Divyam Ivam Yo Veti Tatvatah Tyakta Deham Punarjanma Neti Mam Eti So Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, cha me divyam and karma and janma of Lord Shri Krishna, if he knows the tattva, then what happens? Upon leaving the body, says here, tyakta deham, leaving the body, punar janma neti, means take his birth again in this material world, he does not. He says, does not take this birth again in the material world. But what happens? Mama eti, so Arjuna hai, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjun. That's what Lord Sri Krishna is saying in Srimad in Bhagavad Gita, and that's what happens to Prashadar is what is mentioned here. Right? And let's continue reading, Ajay.
As stated in Brahma Samhita 554, Yash Tva Indra Gopam Athavendram Ahos Swakarma Bandhan Rupa Phala Bhanjanam Anant Jyoti Karmani Niradhikaste Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindam Adipurusham Tam Aham Bhajami. Those who engage in devotional service are unaffected by the results of their material activities. Otherwise, everyone from the smallest microbe up to the king of heaven, Indra, is subject to the laws of karma. A pure devotee, being always engaged in the service of the Lord, is exempt from these laws. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is being mentioned is people who are engaged in devotional service, and this is from Brahma Samhita, which is Lord Brahma's prayer to Govinda. Govindam Adi Purusham, original Anadi Tam Aham Bhajami. And what he says is, who engage in devotional service are then unaffected by the material activities. Bandhan Rupa Fal Bhajanam Athanoti Karmani Niradhatati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajan. And that's the law of, otherwise, a pure devotee is exempt from the laws of karma is what is mentioned. Hare Krishna, Sachin.
Hare Krishna. Kavihi Kaniyan Vishayeshu Nihasruho Visrujya Rajam Saha Bandhu Hirvana Nivesha Chitte Purusham Swarocisham Vivesha Kaishorava Yaha Param Gataha. Being reluctant to accept material enjoyment, Manu's youngest son, whose name was Kavi, gave up the kingdom before attaining full youth. Accompanied by his friends, he went to the forest, always thinking of the self-effulgent Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart. Thus, he attained perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is being described right now is Vaivasvat Manu had 10 sons, right? Ikshvaku being the eldest. And what we were reading previously was Prashadhar, right? Who decided to look after the cows, and then how he went back to Godhead, right? And now what is being talked about is the youngest son of Manu, name is Kavi, and he also gave up the kingdom because, he Nivesha Chitte Purusham Swarochisham, he thinking of the self-effulgent Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, attained the perfection and gave up the kingdom, went to forest. Karusho न मानवादासन कारुषो है क्षत्र जातीय है उत्तरापत गोप्तारो ब्रह्मण्या धर्म वत्सला From Karusha, another son of Manu, came the Karusha dynasty, a family of Kshatriya. The Karusa Kshatriyas were the kings of the northern direction. They were celebrated protectors of Brahminal culture and were all firmly religious. Yeah, Brahmanya Dharmavatsala. This was another son, Karusha. Yeah, and he started the Karusho dynasty. Karusho Kshatriya Jati. Yeah, a family of Kshatriya started as Karusha dynasty. Ajay?
Drishtad Gharsht Mabhut Kshatram Brahma Bhuyam Gatam Chito Nrigasya Vanshah Sumati Bhurjat Jyoti Tirastato Vasu. From the son of Manu named Drishta came a Kshatriya caste called Dharshta, whose members achieved by the position of Brahmins in this world. Then from the son of Manu named Nirga came Sumati. From Sumati came Bhutjyoti, and from Bhutjyoti came Vasu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what are we reading right now? Whose dynasty are we talking about?
Vaivasvat Manu.
Right. Yeah. What we are reading right now is Vaivasvat Manu dynasty, and Vaivasvat Manu is seventh Manu.
Manu.
Yeah, in one Brahmaji's day, there are 14 Manus, seventh Manu, and that is the current Manu. We are in the seventh Manu Antar. So we are sons of Vaivasvat Manu. Yeah, and what is being mentioned is the Drishta is Kshatram Brahma Bhuyam Gatam Kshito. So even though he was Kshatriya, he achieved the position of Brahmans in this world. And then we saw how everything else, including Vasu, came together. Nice purpose. So let's read this, Sachin.
Here it is said, Kshatram Brahma Bhuyam Gatam Shital. Although the Drashtas belonged to the Kshatriya caste, they were able to convert themselves into Brahmanas. This gives clear evidence supporting the following statement by Narada in Bhagavad Gita 7.11.35. Yasya yala lakshanam proktam pumuso varna bhivyanjakam yad anyatapi drishyeta tata tenaiva vinir. If the qualities of one group are found in the men of another, those men should be recognized by their qualities, by their symptoms, not by the caste of the family in which they were born. Birth is not at all important. It is one's qualities that are stressed in all Vedic literature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So contrary to the general belief, right, of the people in our Vedas, right, it's mentioned that people are recognized by their qualities and not just by their birth, right? If a Kshatriya behaves like a Brahman, yeah, he becomes a devotee, he becomes a Vaishnava, then that's what his caste of family is. Yeah, it's one's qualities which are important, is what is being mentioned, and that is also being quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then there are also other Purans where it's mentioned. Vasoha pratikisthatputra odevanodevat pita kanya chodevati nama sudarshana uahatam. The son of Vasu was Pratika, whose son was Oghavan. Oghavan's son was also known as Oghavan, and his daughter was Orghavati. Sudarshan married their daughter. Yeah. Ajay?
Chitraseno Nirishya Diksh Stasya Suto Abhavat Tats Mirvastatam Purna Indrasenastu Tatsuta. From Narishant came a son named Chitrasen, and from him a son named Raksha. From Raksha came Midhavan. From Midhavan came Purna, and from Purna came Indrasena. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Indrasena. Yeah, so those are the dynasties we are talking about of Vaivasvat Manu. Sachin?
वितिहोत्रस्त्विन्द्रसेनात् तस्य सत्यश्रवा अभूत् उरुश्रवाः सूतस्तस्य देवदत्तस्ततो अभवत्. From Indrasena came Vitihotra. From Vitihotra came Satyashrava. From Satyashrava came the son named Urushrava. And from Urushrava came Devadatta. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. ततो अग्निवेशो भगवान अग्नि है स्वयं भूत सुत तानेनैति विख्यातो जातुर्कर्णो महानुषि. From Devdat came a son known as Agniveshya, who was the fire god Agni himself. This son, who was a celebrated saint, was well known as Kanina and Jatukarna. Ajay?
Tato Brahma Kulam Jatumagnivesh Inam Nip Narishanta Navaneha Proktu Disht Vanshmata Shrinu. O king, from Agnivashya came a Brahminical dynasty known as Agniveshyana. Now that I have described the descendants of Narishanta, let me describe the descendant of Dishta. Please hear from me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, and this is, who said this sentence? Who is saying, O king? Who is reciting Srimad Bhagavatam right now? Sukdev Goswami ji, right? Sukdev Goswami ji is telling Parikshit Maharaj, right? O king?
Yeah.
Yeah. He will describe the descendants of Dishta, is what he is saying. Sachin?
Na bhago Dishtaputro Anya Karmana Vaishanta Gataha Balandanaha Stutastasya Vatsa Pritirbha Landanat Vatsa Pritehe Sutaha Pranshasta Satsutam Pramatim Vidu Kanitraha Pramatesta Smacha Shubhatha Vivinchati Shatihi. Dishta had a son by the name Nabhaga. This Nabhaga who was different from Nabhaga described later, became a Vaishya by occupational duty. The son of Nabhaga was known as Bhaladana. The son of Bhaladana was Vatsapriti, and his son was Pramashu. Pramashu's son was Pramati. Pramati's son was Kanitra. Kanitra's son was Chakshusha, and his son was Vivimshati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vimshateha Sutoramba. Actually, there's a nice purport this has. Let's read this. Ajay?
From Manu, one son became a Kshatriya, another a Brahman, and another a Vaishya. This confirms statement by Narad Muni, Yashya Yal Lakshana Proktaha Purho Varna Bhivyakanjalam. Bhagavad 7.11.35. One should always remember that Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas should never be regarded as a member of caste by birth. A Brahman may be changed into a Kshatriya and a Kshatriya into a Brahman. Similarly, a Brahman or Kshatriya may be changed into a Vaishya and a Vaishya into a Brahman or Kshatriya. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita Chatur Varnyam Maya Sitam Gunkarma Vibhagasaha. So one is Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya never by birth, but by the quality. There is a great need of Brahmanas. Therefore, in Krishna consciousness movement, we are trying to train some Brahmanas to guide human society. Because at present there is a scarcity of Brahmanas, the brain of human society is lost. Because practically everyone is a Shudra. No one at the present moment can guide the members of society to the proper path by which to achieve perfection in life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is mentioned is it's not by birth. Yeah. And that Brahman, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, based on the quality, is what is emphasized. And of course, what also being mentioned is this scarcity of Brahmans. Yeah. Not by birth, right? By birth, there are so many Brahmins. But there is scarcity of real Brahmins, the real Vaishnavas. And because of that, also, and the present movement is guiding all the members, the Hare Krishna movement, yeah, so that they can achieve perfection in life. Vivimshateh sutorambah kaninetroasya dharmikah karandhamo maharaj tasya siddhatmajo nip. The son of Vivismati was Rambha, whose son was the great and religious king Kaninetra. Kaninetra. O king, the son of Kaninetra was king Karandham. So Kaninetra had a Karandhamo as a son. Sachin?
तस्या वीक्षित सुतो यस्य मरुत चक्र वर्यवत्यर्भूत संवर्तो याज्ययद यम वै महायोग्य इंगिरः सुतः. From Karandhama came a son named Avikshit, and from Avikshit a son named Maruta, who was the emperor. The great mystic Samavarta, the son of Angira, engaged Maruta in performing a sacrifice, yajna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, see, if you see that, all the dynasties described, and Sukhdev Goswami, of course, knows future, present, and past, and he remembers all the names, right? And Sud Goswami was present. They remember the whole 18,000 shloks, right? The whole Srimad Bhagavatam and all these names. Like I'm just saying, like think about the intellectual power which the Rishi Munis had at that time, right? Hare Krishna, Rinaji.
Hare Krishna Bhaiya. Hare Krishna everyone. मरुतस्य यथा यज्ञो न तथन्यो अस्ति कश्चन सर्वं हिरण्मयं त्वासीद् यत् किञ्चिज्जास्य शोभनम्. The sacrificial paraphernalia of King Marut was extremely beautiful, for everything was made of gold. Indeed, no other sacrifice could compare to his. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So as we know, we are reading about all the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu, how he had 10 sons, and then how each son was different and what did they do, right? Is what we are reading right now. Sachin?
अमाध्यदिन्द्रः सोमेन दक्षिणाभिर्द्विजातयः मरुतः परिवेष्टारो विश्वे देवाः सभासदः. In that sacrifice, King Indra became intoxicated by drinking a large quantity of somaras. The Brahmanas received ample contributions and therefore they were satisfied. For that sacrifice, the various demigods who controlled the winds offered foodstuffs, and the Vishwa Vedavas were members of the assembly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Again?
मरुतस्य दमः पुत्रस्यासीद् राज्यवर्धनः सुधृति स्तस्थो जज्ञे सौधृतयो नरः सुतः. Marut's son was Dama. Dama's son was Rajyavardhan. Rajyavardhana's son was Sudharti, and his son was Nara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nihari?
तत्सुतः केवलस्तं स्माद दुन्दुन्मान्वेगवांस्ततः बुधस्तस्याद्भवत् यस्य तृणबिन्दुर्महीपति. The son of Nar was Keval, and his son was Dunduman, whose son was Vegwan. Vegwan's son was Buddha, and Buddha's son was Trinabindu, who became the king of this earth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Trinna Bindu became Mahipati. Mahi is Prithvi and the king of this whole earth. Tambhejalambushā Devi Bhajaniya Gunalayam Varapsarayata Putra hai Kanya Chela Vilabhavat. The best of the Apsaras, the highly qualified girl named Lambush, accepted the similarly qualified Tranabindu as her husband. She gave birth to a few sons and a daughter known as Ilvila. Sachin?
यस्यामुत्पादयदयामास विश्रवा धनदं सुतं प्रादाय विद्यां परमां मृष्य योगेश्वरः पितुः. After the great saint Vishrava, the master of mystic yoga, received absolute knowledge from his father, he begot in the womb of Ilavila the greatly celebrated son known as Kuvera, the giver of money. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
विशालः शून्यबन्धुश्च धूम्रकेतुश्च तत्सुतः विशालो वंशकृद् राजा वैशालीं निर्में पुरीम्. Trinbandhu had three sons named Vishal, Sunyabandhu, and Dhumraketu. Among these three, Vishal created a dynasty and constructed a palace called Vaishali. Hare Krishna.
हेमचन्द्रः सुतस्तस्य धूम्राक्षस्तस्य चात्मजः तत्पुत्रात् संयमादासीत् कृशाश्वसः देवजः. The son of Vishal was known as Hemchandra. His son was Dhumraksh, and his son was Samyam, whose sons were Devaj and Krishasva. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sachin?
कृशाश्वात सोमदत्तो बुध यो अश्वमेधं विरतिम् ईश्वरा पुरुषमापाग्रयं गति योगेश्वरा श्रिताम् दत्तिस्तु सुमतिस्ततपुत्र जन्मजेय इते वैशाल भूपाला Yashodhara. The son of Krishna was Somadatta, who performed Ashwamedha sacrifices and thus satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. By worshipping the Supreme Lord, he achieved the most exalted post, a residence on the planet, to which great mystic yogis were elevated. The son of Somadatta was Sumati, whose son was Janmejaya. All these kings appearing in the dynasty of Vishala properly maintained the celebrated position of King Trinabindu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So how different sons and the dynasty of Manu, right? They became king, how they got elevated, how they went back to Godhead, right? Is what was being described. And in this Adhyay, and thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the 9th canto, 2nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Dynasties of the Sons of Manu. Yeah, Polo Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
So we completed 2nd chapter of the 9th canto. We will start the chapter 3, which talks about the marriage of Sukanya and Shavanna Muni. And so we'll start that next week, yeah, from Monday. And as we know, this is Kartik month, and we are going to hear the very blissful Damodar Ashtakam. Yeah.
Marishadapiva Varam Devam Mokshana Moksham Vadimva Nachandraneham Marishadapiva Idam Deva Purnata Gopala Bala Sadame Manasya Virashtakimanye Idam Deva Purnata Gopala Bala Sadame Manasya Virashtakimanye Idam Te Mukhambojanatyantanile Vritam Kundalaišnektaraptaishchalopya Idam Te Mukhambojanatyantanile Vritam Kundalaišnektaraptaishchalopya Muhuschambitam Vivarataram Me Manasya Virastamalam Lakshalabhay Muhuschambitam Vivarataram Me Manasya Virastamalam Lakshalabhay Namo Devada Modarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimana Namo Devada Modarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimana Kripa Drishti Vrishchati Dhinam Matano Grihani Shavamagnyam Nidyashi Drishya Kripa Drishti Vrishchati Dhinam Matano Grihani Shavamagnyam Nidyashi Drishya Kuberatmajavada Mutyaiva Yalpa Tvaya Mochita Bhakti Bhajau Kritaucha Kuberatmajavada Mutyaiva Yalpa Tvaya Mochita Bhakti Bhajau Kritaucha Tata prema bhaktim svakam me prayacha Namo shegraho me stridamodaleka Tata prema bhaktim svakam me prayacha Namo shegraho me stridamodaleka Tvadiyodarayata Vishwasyadame Namaste Studame Spuradiptidame Tvadiyodarayata Vishwasyadame Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Turyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Turyam Hare Krishna
बोलो श्री राधे दामोदर भगवान की
Jai.
Right, so blissful Damodar Ashtakam. Do you all have a copy of that, or
You sent it last year too.
can send it one more time, because we'll meet again next Monday, coming Monday. We have the long weekend and here Damodar Ashtakam, of course. And then we'll see you at the Kirtan event. So Rinaji, you are good, right, for the Kirtan?
We are Chinu and Vinod are going definitely. Mine is a little bit iffy. I will try to make it in the early time, like 3 o'clock, right? I have another assignment, and this is my last one. I promise. This is coming, and it's really critical. All my grade depends upon it. So yes, I am planning to work during that time, and then I'll come back and then come back again.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like coming and going. Yes.
That's fine, that's fine. So फिर
Yeah.
वापस आ जाइए ना, आप आओ तो
Yes.
फिर यहाँ ही कर लेना ना, आप यहाँ आपको रूम दे देंगे, आवाज नहीं आएगी आपको. No, seriously, I'm serious actually.
I'll try to manage. Yes, try to
Yeah,
manage.
if you want that, we will
हाँ,
arrange that. So
yeah,
ऊपर ना आवाज नहीं आएगी बिल्कुल भी. So
नहीं
you,
नहीं उसकी कोई बात नहीं है बट या आई विल बी देयर.
yeah, ठीक है, बताना जैसे भी, हाँ.
जी
अगर कुछ
जी बिल्कुल.
ऐसे करना हो तो कर लेना, so you don't waste your time in going
नहीं
back.
नहीं वो है ठीक है मैनेज कर लेंगे भैया.
ठीक है, and Sachin, hopefully we'll see you too. And
Yeah, I have to check with Archana.
yeah, check कर लो.
Yep.
And then Ajay will see you, of course, right? So see you on Saturday. It
You.
starts at 3 p.m. So whenever you are ready to join in. And we'll see you. And then, of course, with Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll meet again Monday, 9:30 p.m. Yeah.
Right.
So, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.